everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today it is time to take care of the level 50 2-star crafting, and most of the gathering associated with it. Well, all the gathering associated with it, most of the level 50 2-star gathering. We are starting out here at Lower Lenosia, north of the Red Rooster Stead and the Grey Fleet. As the first item we are picking up, I'm going to go ahead and skip over any botany materials and mining materials that we've picked up previously. But for new materials, we are starting out up here to get Young Seal Delay's Spinach, which is available starting at 6 a.m. Eorzean time. So let's go ahead and grab as much of that as we can. And then next thing we want is going to spawn in about 3 minutes over in Western Lenosia. So I'm going to rush over there real quick. Alright, the next thing we can gather is out here in Western Lenosia near Swiftperch, up to the north in the Dodo Fields. Starting at about 8 a.m. Eorzean time, we can get Lenosian Leek and Waterfowl Feathers. I don't think we need any Waterfowl Feathers for this set of gathering, but I'll grab some anyway to mark them off the list. And we'll grab as many Lenosian Leeks as we can. Alright, next thing to gather is in about 2 minutes over in Costa del Sol. So I'm going to make my way back over there. Alright, next up here, just outside the very foggy Costa del Sol, we can pick up our next, which is going to be, prickly pineapple seeds. And what we're actually here for, prickly pineapples. Of which we need just 5, but I'll grab as many as I can, just so we have them. Alright, next thing's gonna spawn in about 11 minutes over in Thanalin, so I'll meet you over by Drybone. Alright, the next thing we are grabbing from Botany up here in Camp Drybone is going to be up to the north. It becomes available at about 1 p.m. Eorzean time. So let's go snag it. Looks like it's going to be spawning up near the Invisible City, actually. Between the Invisible City and the Golden Bazaar? There we go. There you are. Right up on the edge of this cliff overlooking. Oh god. That is a really deep canyon, actually. Goodness. Okay, we got black truffles here. We only need 2, but I'm going to grab as many as I can. Just to fill out my inventory and just in case we need more later. Alright, there's one more new thing that we need to grab before we can get to crafting, and I'll be back in a little bit to grab that. That's going to take us back to Wineport, actually. Alright, the last thing we can get, that we need to get, that is new, is going to be over here by Wineport in Eastern Lenosia. Fly on to the south near the path to Lower Lenosia. And where have you spawned? 5 p.m. in Eorzean time, we can find from mining volcanic rock salt. We're going to need 13 of it, but I'm going to grab as much as I can in order to make sure that we're well prepared in case we need it again later. And we're going to need this one again later. You need a lot of volcanic rock salts over time. Alright, I'm going to go get set up back at one of the city-states, and then we'll take care of our crafting for the day. Alright, we are back and it is time to do our crafting. As we are getting started with crafting, I do want to point out 2 things. Actually many things, but 2 big things to start. One, there's no new fish in patch 2.1. There were none added. I think that's in part because they added treasure maps with patch 2.1. And there were treasure maps added to fishing instead of actual fish. I don't actually know the reason why there were no fish added in 2.1. But there were treasure maps added. So we don't have to worry about fish today, which is somewhat good. The other thing I want to point out is that this tier of crafting, the level 50 2-star crafting, requires so many materials that between me and my retainers, my 3 retainers, we have 37 open inventory slots total. That's not a lot between 4 separate inventories. Oh, and also that includes my Chocobo saddlebag, so actually between 5 different inventories, we've only got like 32 slots open. Or 37 slots open, which is not a lot. You need a lot of different materials for this particular tier of crafting. Alright, So I want to point out, I'm doing this in post-commentary. I'm recording the commentary first, and then I'm going to record the crafting later, and I'm going to stick that underneath the commentary. Because what I learned with level 50 1-star crafting is, oh my god, I need to focus, and that sucks. So let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and read off all the materials we need while you watch me do the actual crafting in the background. Oh yes, and before we really get going with reading off the materials, there is one more important thing I need to point out, and that is that the crafting requirements are going up and up. To craft like base materials, like intermediate crafts that are then used to make other crafts, you need a minimum craftsmanship stat of 347. And if you want to quick craft those intermediate materials, you need a craftsmanship of 391. I don't have a craftsmanship of 391. I am fairly close, but I cannot do that on all of my jobs at the same time. Unfortunately, I just don't have the materia for that. Additionally, to make the final equipment, anything that's like the actual gear that we're making, like armor, weapons, tools, stuff like that, accessories. For those, we need a control stat of at least 318, which I do have, and to quick craft them, we need a control stat of at least 374, which I do not have. Yeah, those crafting requirements are getting quite a bit higher. I would focus first on meeting the minimum requirement of 347 craftsmanship and 318 control. And once you have those met, then you can start pushing for the quick craft stats. I would especially focus on getting your craftsmanship up, since that's used to make a lot of the intermediate materials. And then the final gear that you make is not too bad. You can just make that individually, and I'd recommend that anyway, so you can have guaranteed high quality. So yeah, craftsmanship is, the crafting stats requirements are going way up. You can also supplement your stats with food, which I recommend you do that. Like, buff your stats with food, do it. It will be very, very helpful. It's basically the only way to get to those quick craft requirements at this stage. Now that you know that level 50 2-star tier crafting that we're doing today is hard, let's get started on our actual reading out of materials. Starting out, as usual, with the shards and crystals. We need 28 fire shards, 80 wind shards, 5 earth shards, 96 lightning shards, 106 water shards, 417 fire crystals, 60 ice crystals, 252 wind crystals, 165 earth crystals, 84 lightning crystals, 35 water crystals, and then the clusters, which, if you remember, we can only collect at the timed nodes in Mordona at 1, 5, and 9 on the clock, AM for botany and PM for mining. We need 64 fire clusters, 18 ice clusters, 78 wind clusters, 59 earth clusters, 42 lightning clusters, and 31 water clusters. Alright, that is it for the crystals we need. Moving on to the actual gathering. Let's see, let's move over to the step-by-step menu on Team Craft. Don't mind me. Here we go. So, in Lower Lenosia, from our timed gathering, our post-game timed gathering, from Botany, we need 1 young seal delay spinach. You can skip the following 2, but 10 Maslaya greens, which are found in most of the post-game gathering spots, post-game botany gathering spots, and 10 gregarious worms, which are found in most of the post-game mining spots. You can skip the Maslaya greens and gregarious worms if you want. They're for something very specific, and we'll get into that later. It's for chocobo racing, which I have not introduced yet, and also some of the materials we need for that particular craft isn't available till Heavensward, so I'm not worried about the Maslaya greens and gregarious worms. But those are the 2 that I would say that you can go ahead and skip, because unless you buy off the market board, you're not going to be able to finish the crafts with gregarious worms and Maslaya greens. Also from Lower Lenosia, we can use botany for 1 highland parsley. Eastern Lenosia, from our time gathering, we can mine up 13 volcanic rock salt and use botany for 5 prickly pineapples. From our regular gathering, we can fish up 1 silver shark. We can use botany for 1 nutmeg, 1 mugwort, 1 midland basil, and 1 dragon pepper. We can hunt grass raptors in the area for 1 raptor skin and 9 raptor sinew. We can fight buffaloes in the area for 3 night milk. We can fight Garlean soldiers at the castrum for 1 legionary visor, as well as 1 Garlean rubber and 1 Garlean fiber. We can fight Querals over in the forest area south of Wineport in the over here for 5 Queral skins. I also picked those up from the post-game treasure maps, especially boarskin maps. I was getting a lot of those. And finally, we can fight... Oh yes, we can also get 1 Queral meat from the Querals. And finally, we can fight Upkalu south of Costa del Sol for 4 Upkalu eggs. Moving on to Middle Lenosia, we can use Botany for 8 Sunset Wheat and 1 Lenosian lettuce. In Upper Lenosia... in Upper Lenosia, we can use our Botany for 1 Sticky Rice, Mine 1 Raw Turquoise and 4 Electrum Ore, Botany for 1 Dart Frog, Mine for 3 Brimstone, and Botany for 1 Black Scorpion. Next up in Western Lenosia, we can use Timed Gathering. Timed Gathering from Botany, we can get 1 Lenosian Leek. In anywhere else in Lenosia have things we need? I'm not seeing anything, so let's move on to Thanlin, and if I did miss anything in Lenosia, we'll come back. So next up in Thanlin, starting with Northern Thanlin, we can fight... Nope, no fighting here. We can use Mining for 6 Basilisk Eggs and 1 Grenade Ash. In Central Thanlin, we can mine up 23 Rock Salt. In Western Thanlin, we can fish up 1 Hammerhead Shark, use Botany for 2 Wild Onions, 1 Garlean Garlic, mine 61 Copper Ore, and mine 6 Cinnabar. Next up in Southern Thanlin, we can mine up 16 Silex and Botany for 1 Lava Toad. Anywhere else in Thanlin? I'm seeing East Thanlin has something. We can use Timed Gathering, Post-Game Gathering, mining for 9 Gold Sand, and 183 Gold Ore, as well as Timed Botany for 2 Black Truffles. Regular Gathering, we can use Mining for 2 Wyvern Obsidian, 3 Saltpeter, 1 Raw Rubellite, 1 Raw Amber, and Botany for 1 Popoto. We can fight Golden Fleece for 11 Snurble Tufts, and fight all Myotragus Billies and Nannies for 2 Old Goat Horns. Okay, anything else in Thanlin? I think that might be it. So next up's gonna be... let's do Kurthus next. We'll do Kurthus, and then Mordona, and then the Shroud. Up in Kurthus, we can do Timed Gathering, from Botany, Timed Gathering, 1 Vampire Plant, 8 Thavnarian Mistletoe, 51 Spruce Logs, and 378 Dark Steel Ore. That's gonna take a while. You're gonna want to be on top of your Dark Steel Ore. We can also do Timed Mining for 6 Astral Rocks, regular mining for 1 Raw Zircon, and then we can fight Ornery Caracals to the south or north of Camp Dragonhead for 22 Fleece. In Mordona, we can fight Hippogriffs over by the Singing Shard to the east of Revenant's Toll for 50 Hippogriff Skin, 4 Hippogriff Sinew, and we can fight the Magitech Vanguards over at Castrum Sentry for 1 Garlean Steel Plate and 2 Garlean Steel Joints. Those Garlean Steel drops are fairly rare, so you may need to be at it for a while. Apologies. Okay, next up, looks like East Shroud. We can do Timed Gathering, Timed Botany for 9 Trillium Bulbs, 1 Trillium, and 56 Silkworm Cocoons, and regular Botany for 1 Fairy Apple. South Shroud, we can use regular Botany for 1 Wildfowl Feather. We can mine up 36 Silver Ore. We can mine up 2 Raw Tourmaline, 1 Raw Spinel, use Botany for 1 Oak Log, 1 Gridanian Walnut, 4 Flax, mine up 47 Effervescent Water, and mine up 56 Black Alaman. We can also fight Colungs, little Colungs in the tunnel that leads to Earth's Fount in the southeast of Quarry Mill, for 3 Spoken Blood, and we can fight tree ants in the area in the eastern path that leads from Quarry Mill to Camp Tranquil for 1 tree ant sap. In the North Shroud, we can use Botany for 1 maple sap and 1 latex. Let's see, is there anything else? Central Shroud, we can use Botany for 1 elegant snail. And I think at this point we're gonna need to start getting into some really rough purchasing. Okay. From your tradecraft vendors found at any of the main city-states, you can buy 3 mineral water, 4 buffalo milk, 1 old goat milk. Okay, and now we are moving on to the really rough part of the gathering. This last bit of the gathering that we need is going to come from Grand Company seals. You need a lot of Grand Company seals. For this section, you need 120,060 Grand Company seals. So you're going to need to fill up your Grand Company seals multiple times over in order to get all of this. You can also buy some of it off the market board, but that can get pricey. So I would recommend splitting some from the Grand Company seals as much as you can, some from the market board as much as you can, or you can be like me and be really lucky and have a bunch of friends who have a bunch of Grand Company seals they're not using, including my lovely girlfriend Annie, and they can just gift you a lot of the materials that you need, which is fantastic. Oh my goodness, thank you so much to everyone who supported me. My girlfriend Annie gave me a lot, but a lot of my friends gave me a lot. Speaking of, same friends also gave me a lot of the Mariner Cotton Cloth. I finally got all those crafts from level 50, 1 star done. All the Mariner Cotton Cloth crafting is done on my end. I'm so glad. Anyways, those Grand Company seals, we need a lot of them. This is not going to be the most expensive step in terms of Grand Company seals. The next few steps, some of the upcoming steps, in total, I think it's well over 1 million Grand Company seals for later steps after this. So you should probably get grinding on those Grand Company seals and just start buying crafting materials. I don't have the exact list offhand of everything you need. It's probably a wise idea to get about 100 of all the crafting materials you can get out of the Grand Companies, but that might be a little bit extra on some, a little bit short on some. Just start buying stuff. Just start buying the crafting materials. I'll get you the exact numbers as soon as I can when we get to those crafting episodes, but you're gonna need a lot of stuff. It's probably safe to just start buying. Anyways, the things that we can buy out of the Grand Company with our Grand Company seals. 1 Void Scent Blood, which will cost 20 Grand Company seals. There's an alternative method to get this that we won't get to until patch 2.3. But, for now, 1 Void Scent Blood. Pudding Flesh, we need 1. It costs 200 Grand Company seals. I don't see any alternative way at this current moment to get it. Potash, we need 90 potash. There is an alternative method which we'll get to in patch 2.3. But for now, 200 Grand Company seals each for a total of 18,000 Grand Company seals for 90 potash. Peacock Ore, again, has an alternative method of getting over in patch 2.3, we'll get to it soon, eventually when we get to patch 2.3. For now, 200 Grand Company seals each per Peacock Ore for 25,200 Grand Company seals total for 126 Peacock Ore. Next up, Minium has the same alternative method in patch 2.3, 200 Grand Company seals each for a total of 6,200 seals for 31 Minium. Lime Sulfur, same alternative method in patch 2.3, costs 200 Grand Company seals each. We need 10 Lime Sulfur, giving 2,000 Grand Company seals total. 27 Hardened Sap, same alternative method in patch 2.3. You may be noticing a trend here. Patch 2.3 is going to give us a really good alternate way to save a lot of Grand Company seals. But for now, we need 27 Hardened Sap, 200 Grand Company seals each, for 5,400 total. Next up, Filtered Water, we need 1. It has the same alternative method in patch 2.3, but for now, 20 Grand Company seals each, nice and cheap, for 20 total for one filtered water. Cooking Sherry, I actually got my Cooking Sherry out of treasure maps. So treasure maps are another good alternative way to get these, though they are very random and therefore unreliable. It has the same alternative method in patch 2.3, but for now, 20 Grand Company seals for 1 cooking sherry. 171 Coke. Same alternative method in patch 2.3. You might want to wait for patch 2.3, actually. But for now, 200 Grand Company seals each, 171 Coke, 34,200 seals total. 9 Aqueous Whetstone is next. Same alternative method in patch 2.3. For now, 200 seals each, for 9 total, giving us 1,800 seals. Finally, last thing we need to get from Grand Company seals, 135 animal fat. Same alternative method in patch 2.3. You might want to wait for patch 2.3, actually. But for now, 200 Grand Company seals each, we need 135, costing 27,000 Grand Company seals. Thank God that's all of it. Okay, there's a few more things we need to get. We've got 5 items. 5. Yes, 5 items. I was right the first time. Which we can only get either through Heavensward, or we can get through the market board. I'm not going to be doing that. Or we can get it through gardening, which I don't have access to. You need your own personal player house for that. These are the things that are paired with the Mozlaia Greens and Gregarious Worms, so you can feel free to skip these next 5 if you wish. But from gardening or market board, 1 Curial Root. From Heavensward, we can get 1 Tantal Plant, 1 Silkus Bud, 1 Pasana Fruit, 1 Mimic Gourd. This next thing we can get here, of course, from buying just off of shopkeeps, because we have a lot of these are already, but 5 Gissel Greens. But these Gissel Greens are also used for the same recipes that use the stuff that's only available in Heavensward or off the market board, and is used for the Chocobo racing, so feel free to skip the Gissel Greens if you wish. Okay, last couple things we need to gather. The last couple. These come from retainer ventures or off the market board. So, first off, 2 Taffeta Cloth. You can get this from 4 different types of retainer ventures. Field Exploration 13, 17, and 18, or Highland Exploration 13. Highland Exploration, I believe, is for miners, and Field Exploration, I want to say, is for gatherers in general, but it might be for combat. I don't remember off the top of my head. You need 2 Taffeta Cloth. It's random if you get it. I just went and bought off the market board. It's a little pricey, but only like 40k gil. That's not too bad for just 2. So 80k total. The other thing that comes from Ventures, Light Steel Plate. We need 2 Light Steel Plates. They come from Field Exploration 13, Highland Exploration 13, or Waterside Exploration 13, where Waterside Exploration is Fishers. Field Exploration might be Botanist. Okay, so yeah, the tier 13 of any of your gathering ventures, gathering retainers. We need 2 light steel plates. Okay, good news. That is all the gathering. 20 straight minutes almost of just reading out the gathering list. Let's get to the pre-crafts. From our level 50 1-star, we need 17 spruce lumber from Carpenter. We need, from Blacksmith or Armor, level 50 1-star, 126 dark steel nuggets, 13 dark steel rivets, 15 dark steel plates from Armor specifically, 5 dark steel rings from Armor specifically, from Goldsmith, from our regular Goldsmith crafting, 12 silver ingots, 6 Basilisk Whetstones, 1 Tourmaline, 1 Electrum ingot. From our level 50 1-star Goldsmith, 6 Astral Eyes, 61 Rose Gold Nuggets. From Leatherworker, regular Leatherworker, we've got 1 Raptor Leather. From our level 50 1-star Leatherworker, this is something I skipped before because we were going to be using it in crafting later. Now is later. 5 Quarrel Fur at level 50 1-star Leatherworker. We also need 50 Hippogriff Leather. From Weaver, we need 2 crafts of linen yarn for 3 total. 1 undyed linen. From level 50 1-star, we need 28 crafts of silk thread for 55 total. From Alchemist, regular Alchemist, we need 3 Quicksilver. We need 1 rubber. We need 19 natron. Okay, next up is 4 clear glass lenses, 1 horn glue, 1 black fire sand, 1 shark oil. Then from level 50, 1 star, 3 enchanted gold ink, and 2 growth formula delta. Next up from regular Culinarian, 1 maple syrup, 1 craft of table salt for 5 total, 1 craft of sweet cream for 3 total, 1 craft of smooth butter for 5 total, 2 crafts of sunset wheat flour for 4 total, 1 pie dough, 1 cider vinegar, 1 cottage cheese, 1 walnut bread, 1 cream cheese. And now we're moving on to the level 50 2-star crafts. We are going to need to make, starting out as carpenter, all the remaining crafts that I list are going to be level 50 2-star. From carpenter, 3 treated spruce lumber. From blacksmith or armor, 19 dark steel ingots. From goldsmith, 1 radiant astral eye, 14 rose gold ingots. From leatherworker, 15 hard hippogriff leather. There's a craft that I actually missed for weaver earlier, my mistake. Regular weaver, we need 11 undyed felt. Okay, that's the only thing I missed, it looks like. Okay, weaver, level 50, 2-star, back to the 2 stars. 10 Vanya silk. As alchemist, 4 crystal glass, 3 enchanted rose gold ink, 1 growth formula delta concentrate. Now moving on to the next tier of crafting from level 50 2-star. We are going to need from carpenter, sarngalib, 1 sarngalib. From blacksmith, 1 avenger grips, 1 mail breaker blade, 1 misery cord blades, 1 obelisk head, 1 rampager head. As armor, 1 dark steel breastplate, 1 dark steel coutures, 1 dark steel gauntlet plates. From goldsmith, 1 astrolabe clinometer, 2 rose gold clasps. From leatherworker, 1 griffin skin elbow pad, 1 griffin skin knee pad, 1 griffin skin shin guard, 1 griffin skin shoulder guard. From weaver, 1 Vanya silk Krakow lining, 2 Vanya silk glove linings, 2 Vanya silk hat linings, 2 Vanya silk robe linings, and then finally as alchemist, 1 suspended trillium flower, and that should be all of the pre-crafts that we need to do. I've included enough materials that for the 3 types of rings you can make in here, you can make 2 each. Oh, thank God. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut ahead in the crafting. I don't care how long it has taken so far. I'm gonna cut ahead in the crafting to when we're done so I can show off the new things that we have made that are worth showing off. Any upgrades that we have picked up from doing all this crafting. Oh my gosh, I'll be right back with the level 50 2-star crafts complete. Oh, I'm out of breath. 90 minutes of crafting later. Yes, it took 90 minutes. We are finally done with the level 50 2-star crafting. In total, what we got a whole bunch of item level 1, effectively glamour gear, mostly glasses, but also some other items. Taffeta loincloth, taffeta shawl, light steel subligar, and galeris. We also got the next tier up of potions, including X potions, X ethers, high elixir, and we also got some item level 70 food that works for all of our classes and jobs, all of our combat and crafting and gathering. Should now have at least some item level 70 food available. Excellent! We also got some warding mega potions, which I believe these used to be used for buffing your resistance against various elements. That was removed in Stormblood, and now these just give pigments for dyes. What else did we get? Oh yes, of course, we got a whole bunch of armor and weapons. Specifically, every single combat job got a full set of item level 70 weapons, armors, and accessories. Not all of these are upgrades, unfortunately, because we do have a full item level 90 set of armor from our level 50 job quests. We have our level 90 relic weapons on all of our jobs. And we've picked up a few item level 90 gear from places like the Binding Coils. So, not all of it's going to be upgrades, but our accessories at the very least can all be at minimum item level 70 now, which is great. So we can go ahead and run through and do all of those upgrades real quick. And see how high our item level goes. Ooh, Ninja got a whole upgrade of accessories. Very nice. Looks like our lowest item level might be 86 now? Yeah, upgrades all around bumping us up to 86. Awesome. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Almost up to item level 90 on everyone, on all of my jobs. There were unfortunately no new gear upgrades for crafters or gatherers, but that's fine and somewhat expected. We'll be getting into the next tier of crafting and gathering upgrades, probably in patch 2.2, I want to say. There are a few things we did not craft, and I do want to at least show what those are. Over in Carpenter, we didn't make a magic stable broom. I don't think we have access to broom brushes or bamboo sticks at the moment, unless we buy them off the market board. And they're not entirely useful for me at the moment. Magic Stable Broom, I believe you used for housing. These two are 3 stars, so we're not getting to them yet. Over on Blacksmith, the only thing left is a 4-star craft, 3-star craft for armor. All done on Goldsmith. Goldsmith is completely cleaned out. 3 and 4 stars on Leatherworker. Weaver, we still haven't made jute yarn because it hasn't been useful for anything. It's actually useful for housing items, so I might end up making that in the last crafting and gathering episode of A Realm Reborn, because I'm probably not going to make it otherwise, but I'm not going to worry about it yet. There are a few 3-star crafts we can make from Weaver. Those are primarily a minion and a bunch of glamour gear. No actual like armor upgrades. Over at Alchemist, we didn't make any diluted vitriol. Don't need that yet, but it will be used in recipes. Yeah, we'll be getting to that later. We'll be using it in recipes later, but for now, we don't need it, so I'm not worried about it. And finally, these 5. These are the things that involve items from Heavensward or from player housing. I did not end up making them because they are, 1, we can't access all the materials yet unless we use the market board, and 2, they're for Chocobo Racing, so I'm not worried about that yet. Not until we introduce Chocobo Racing. That, once we have access to all the materials that we need to craft it, and we have access to Chocobo Racing, that's when I'll show this off. But yeah, we are almost completely cleared out on all of our post-game crafting. There's very little left. That's odd. I thought that I said that we would need over 1 million Grand Company seals for the rest of the crafting after this for A Realm Reborn. We will. We'll get into that. Trust me, it's going to suck. Okay, before we finish off for today, there is one last thing that I do want to show off, and that's going to take us to the Isles of Umbra over in Western Lenosia. So let's go ahead and teleport over there. Did someone just try to heal me? Alright, well, whatever. Let's go ahead and just fly on out to the Isles of Umbra. No need to spend 40 gil. Oh, look at the corrupted ether wedged into the top of Pharaoh Sirius. Okay, fly all the way over here, and we're looking to go to the southwest tip of the Isles of Umbra. Right about there. We can go ahead and fly right in through the ship graveyard over here. I guess this isn't quite the ship graveyard. The ship graveyard's on the south side, not the east. Still, fly in over here, past the ship graveyard, and all the way over to this far southwestern corner, we can find a magic pot. A void scent just kind of hanging out over here. What's up with you, magic pot? Well, if we give the magic pot elixirs, a high elixir, we can get a wind-up moon minion And for a regular elixir, we can get a wind-up sun minion. Excellent. I'll go ahead and show those off once we get to the next... once we get to the next thing that's required for the main story is when I'll show those off. But, nice, we got 2 new minions. Especially thanks to the high elixir we were able to craft today. Alright then, with that should be all of the level 50 2-star crafting and gathering for A Realm Reborn. There's still some gathering spots we haven't touched yet, but that's fine, we'll get to them in due time. For now, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, let's move on to the second tier of the Amalja questline to continue their story. I'll see everyone next time for that.